Hello everybody, and welcome back to something different. And I know different means scary, so you'll probably all leave, and the channel analytics will back up that within another, 50 seconds you'll all leave. But anyway, welcome back, and today is something a bit different. So, as we well know, if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, I've been a fan of 40k since 2004. So I've been a long time fan, read, a million Black Library books, played all the video games and things like that. But believe it or not, I've never actually collected tabletop or painted or done any wargaming with tabletop until about 2 years ago. And since then, since the 2 years, I have actually built up a bit of a collection in my own ghetto series of model tips and painting strategies and things like that, since I'm poor. So I thought I would share with you my collection, as recorded by previous me, who needs to have a better camera, and I just thought we'd explain it. So, the first army I ever collected was the Flesh Tearers. Originally going to be the Lamenters, but the colour scheme was awful. So I went for Flesh Tearers, and did a full army of them. Probably one of my favourite armies. Next army I did, wow, previous me, you suck at camera holding. Next army I did was Death Watch. So you can see, got Death Watch. Of course, I got Lord Gilliman. I got him in America, actually. Saint Celestine, Custodes and Sisters of Silence, and the Burning of Prospero. Now, this is my Horus Heresy army. Of course, Blood Angels, 9th Legion, 88th Company. Almost complete. There's still a couple more tanks and stuff left to build. And my trusty Xiphon, which, yes, previous me has noted the canopy's broken. But don't worry, I fixed it a day later, so it's perfectly fine. So yes, that's my 88th Company. And then I got into doing a bit of chaos. So this is the 101st Company Sons of Horus, a 40k Sons of Horus warband. Got Angron and Lorgar there, my 30k Primarchs. I've got my latest forces, the Sisters of Battle, plus the rest of my Blood Angels that couldn't fit on the top shelf. Must admit, I do really love how my sisters turned out. It was pretty awesome to see. Again, my Chaos Sons of Horus. And then way up on the top here is my miscellaneous stuff. So I've got Marathi, Dawn, Russ, Korax. I was originally going to do Raven Guard before I settled on Blood Angels, so I've got a few Raven Guard specific elite units up there that I just never got really around to building. So there we go. I've got my Storm Knights in the corner. As you can see, I've got Breacher Squad, got a Mark IV Assault Marine Squad, which I need to finish, of course my trusty Spartan. Now, this is actually my painting setup. Jug of water, Groot with all my brushes in it, glue, primer, and as you can see here, that is just my painting box. Yes, you are correct. I do all of my modelling standing up, and I do all of my modelling on that second blue shelf down the bottom there, which you can be amazed is not actually covered in paint. Yeah, just craft knife and all my tools. So, be honest, my setup is actually pretty low-key. No fancy lighting or anything from me. Do everything standing up, and do everything as I'm actually going. So, yeah, by that method is actually how I painted everything on this shelf. So, Gilliman, Celestine, Custodes, Blood Angels, Flesh Tearers, Primarchs. It's actually pretty cool, I must admit. I know it might sound weird, but I kind of like painting standing up. It keeps blood flowing to your brain. And if you hold on a Black Library book or a, bunch of zero punctuation videos, then it kind of makes the evening a bit more fun. Again, as you can see, my Blood Angels, painted them all with contrast. It was the first time I ever used contrast paint. And I must admit, I quite liked it, but it did take a little bit of work to get into. My Storm Knights down the bottom there, which I still don't like very much. My Breacher Squad, and my trusty Spartan battle tank. Must admit, is a lot of fun. Yes, my 40k Sons of Horus warband. I was inspired by the idea of that there still being a bunch of Sons of Horus running around, even in the 41st millennium. Yes, old Angron and Lorgar. Oh yep, my Squad of Fallen. I used them basically out of just stuff from my bits box in the end. I was really impressed with how I actually managed to rack them all together. So yeah, basically, that's my current collection at time of writing. The old Dawn and Russ. I must admit, I need to finish my Raffi. So, yeah, there we go. Now, what I actually wanted to discuss today was going about how I actually came up with my Sisters of Battle colour scheme, and my little tip I learned from the whole experience. So, I started off with a box of Sisters of Battle, as you can see above, and my original plan was I had a colour scheme in my head of corn red armour with ultramarines blue cloth, and basically that was it. However, when I painted my first warrior, I realised I painted the blue first, and realised it looked a hell of a lot better like that. So I ended up just deciding there and then to go with the black armour and blue cloth. It looked better. And then I kind of realised I needed to break up the colour a little bit. So I used Mephiston red instead of corn red to actually paint the gloves, give it a bit of a break up and a bit of a highlight. Give a bit of colour detail. And I ended up doing it for the whole squad and actually loving it a hell of a lot better. I found the black armour actually accentuated all the steel and metal details. The blue cloth was very striking and it went well with the black. And the red gloves just broke up the whole, sort of darker colour palette. And again, I continued this theme on with my entire army and ended up really loving how it looked. So, basically, my tip of today is trust your instincts. If you actually have a colour scheme in mind and you decide you like something better, then go with it. Sometimes your gut is actually correct when it comes to painting and tips. The other tip I would say is don't be retarded like me and try and paint every single hair colour a different thing. It is, a lot more striking and beautiful, but man, trying to paint blonde hair was incredibly difficult, especially since I sprayed everything black before I actually went on to, undercoat and paint the models themselves. So, yeah, I just wanted to give a couple of quick tips. I'll probably make the tips a bit longer and better in future, but for now I'm going to leave you a preview of what's going to happen next time we look at me in modelling. I don't know.